Talking strategy now. Joining us from Washington, D.C., Democratic strategist and co-founder of Purple Strategy, Steve McMahon. Here with us, Alex Conant, a Republican strategist who served as the comms director for Marco Rubio's presidential campaign and now works at Firehouse Strategies, his new firm. Steve, Alex, thanks for joining us. Alex, you first. How bad is this Trump confrontation with the cons? And if he decided he agreed it was bad, what could he do now to fix it?
Well, it's bad, but it's also in the moment now. We've got 99 days to go, and I don't think a lot of people are going to remember this moment 3 months from now because things move so fast. My concern is that it's endemic of the larger messaging problems coming out of the Trump campaign, which is they don't need to be talking about this. They don't need to be talking about Russia. They need to be talking about how GDP numbers that came out on Friday were awful, how in the states that matter, Ohio and Pennsylvania, unemployment is not where it should, or employment is not where it should be. They need to be talking about the economy. And instead, Trump seems to be talking about everything but the economy. That's the big concern. As a Republican strategist who wants to see Republicans do well this fall, we need the top of the ticket talking about the economy and messages that work for us. What he's been talking about the last 3 days isn't working.
Steve, I bet you don't agree that this will not be on voters' minds at all come November.
No, I don't. In fact, I think one of the things that the Trump campaign is actually very good at is extending a bad story that could be a one-day story into 3 or 4 or 5 days. And when you have 99 days left in the election, every day that you lose is a big opportunity. Alex is absolutely right. This is a campaign that seems to have no message discipline, and a candidate who doesn't know the the Russians are in Crimea, and so many other things. It's not a very good day to be a Trump supporter.
Steve, let me ask you from a Democratic perspective. We've been very hard on Trump for all the obvious reasons over this con thing. If this goes on for days and days now, and the cons keep doing interviews, it's going to look to some people like Democrats are trying to milk this controversy, or at least there's a risk of that. How does the Clinton campaign avoid that, making it look like it's overly politicizing something that shouldn't really be politicized, and that Donald Trump obviously caused all this by politicizing it himself? Is there a risk for them, and how do they avoid it? The Democrats, that is.
Well, I mean, there's always some risk, but I don't see any evidence that the Clinton campaign is ginning this up. You've got the cons going out there very humbly, basically saying Donald Trump should get his facts straight, he should read the Constitution, he should chill out. And the Trump campaign, in Donald Trump himself, are continuing to attack. I mean, they're walking themselves into this hole, and then they're complaining that they're in the hole that they're in. I don't see any involvement or participation from the Clinton campaign, and frankly, you're right, if that were true, or if that were evident, that it could be a problem at some point. But, you know, right now, it's the Trump campaign really against itself here.
Well, it's also the difference between a primary election and a general election. And in case nobody else noticed, the general election started last Thursday night when Hillary Clinton took the nomination, or accepted the nomination. And in the primary election, I think that Trump could sort of bulldoze through these controversies because there just wasn't enough opposition to sustain the conversation, to sustain the spotlight on any particular incident. Now that we're in the general election, you do see the DNC and the Clinton campaign and every Senate candidate in the country coming under pressure to comment on this, from reporters, from their opposition, from Democratic operatives, from people like yourself, and so that's the difference now.
So here's my question,
Mark and John. If I could, I think Alex is right. There's one other element that seems to be present here that really wasn't present during the campaign, and that is, you know, it was easy for Donald Trump when it was only 20 or 25 reporters covering his campaign to kind of bamboozle through them. You've now got everybody in the world, every reporter and journalist in the world is paying attention to this, and you can't bully every reporter in the world, and he's finding that out right now.
So that kind of leads to my question, right? We are all now, having seen Trump say controversial things, you remember very well, through the nomination fight, all the way through Judge Curiel, now this. We all kind of say, well, maybe this won't be the thing that kills him. As we get closer to Election Day and more of the available voters start to actually focus on this, is there a chance that something like this, whether it's this or something that follows this, because something will follow this, will be a moment where suddenly it really is the thing that finally does him in?
One of the things that's so remarkable to me is how stable Trump's numbers are. I mean, he is right around 40%, give or take a point, in every single poll, and he has been for months. Now, the good news for him is that 40% I don't think is likely to go. I think he can say, as he said, you know, shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, and that 40% is probably not going anywhere. But 40% is not going to beat Hillary Clinton when you look at the electoral map. And so how does he grow to the 44, 45% that he at least needs if he's going to be competitive and win in November. And these sorts of statements take him off message, do not bring new voters into the fold.
Should Trump want 1 debate, 2 debates, or 3 debates?
I think he should want as many debates as he wants. Look, I went up against him. My boss went up against him 15, 16 times, and he did great. Yeah.
Steve, should Hillary Clinton want other candidates, the Green and Libertarian on the stage, or should she want one-on-one with Trump?
I think she wants one-on-one with Trump, and I think, unless some of those other candidates get their numbers up to 15, 16, 17%, where Ross Perot was, there's a standard here that actually I think will be difficult for the others to meet. But if they do, they deserve to be on stage. If they don't, it should be a one-on-one, and that's what Hillary Clinton should want. She'll excel at it.
The single biggest mistake he made during the primaries was skipping the debate on the eve of the Iowa caucuses. He should just let the debates play out and try to drive as many viewers to them as possible.
Even if they're on a football night.
Yeah.
Even if they're on, some things are more important.
Alex,
the tape will be running regardless of when it happens.
Steve, thank you guys. Thank you both for joining us. We'll be right back.